That's right, TLC wants to talk about Kody's anger problem and how all of his ex-wives left because of it. Kody tries to take back the story, and TLC tries to get viewers, but the ex-wives don't seem to care about his plans. To keep things interesting, the show's producers are trying to get the wives to try to get back together with their families. But I think what they really want is for Kody to be in charge of the women, traffic them, and be the patriarch again. Because that's what they promised the network and TLC. We are watching a show right now that has really gone too far. Kody told Janelle he was sorry. During his apology to Janelle, Kody said he was sorry for not protecting her from some of the things that happened early in their relationship, not being her safe space, and not having her back. He put all the blame on their early years together, saying he wasn't able to handle having 2 relationships with Meri and Janelle, and he blamed Meri for being mean to Janelle. He's not responsible for how he brought Janelle into the family, denying any wrongdoing and leaving his family for weeks at a time while he traveled and sold whatever he was selling. He left his wives with nothing but a can of beans to fend for themselves while he populated his kingdom with people he knew he couldn't afford and would never pay for. His wives were living in a state of survival because he wasn't there. We've seen Cody and Robin, who act like king and queen to everyone else, for 15 years. And Cody and Robin made everyone else feel like they were always wrong while they played king and queen. A few of your kids? Why do they want to know? What were they doing? They came and asked how our family was doing. They saw how far apart we were in Flagstaff. That's the family group, though. That's the culture, not the connections between people. They also saw that Kody and I have been having a hard time for a long time. The kids said, "Do you and your dad look like you're not close with each other anymore in Vegas? And in Las Vegas, huh? Okay. That's the reason. Okay. The view of the outside world. I worry. I do to hell with them. I do not. I understand. And I feel the same. I'm not going to even. I feel the same. But I do worry. That's why I don't want anyone to underestimate the sacrifice that Meri's made. I don't want anyone saying Robyn's been promoted, or whatever. That absolutely, that is my biggest worry. Or that Kody and Robyn pushed it on me like somehow or another I've abandoned you. You told me to go away. Kody, you know why. That this is why we need to go talk to Nancy, cause I don't know why. I'm not sitting here rehearsing a line or stating a line that I've practiced. B. Meri deserves a midlife crisis right now. Cause her daughters left the nest. We tricked each other about what our relationship was. The harm was done so badly that we are not going to reconcile no matter what. And so, however, we were made responsible to God. I don't want to be responsible to this church and all their bees. So, I'm going to let Meri go and do her thing, because if I am angry at her, it becomes a fight. I needed her just to go away, because it just took forever for her to finally realize. The trouble with Kody and Robyn is that we've watched for 15 years and we've seen what happened. We saw what happened when Robyn forced the breakup. When Robyn and Kody forced a divorce, came up with some harangued idea that it was about the kids. Manipulated Meri into saying that it was her plan when it was not. Abandoning Meri after the divorce happens, saying nothing was going to change, and it did. When people like Janelle expressed concerns about it changing things, or that, the viewers were going to look like Robyn was getting promoted, that she had more power and authority. Janelle even voiced concerns about Robyn not being fair financially. And that proved to be true. We watched Kody and Robyn lead Meri on for 8 years, making her think that if she just hung on a little bit more and just did a little bit more, everything would get better. We watched Kody say terrible things about Meri, about he didn't consider himself married to her. They were like exes living on the same block. He doesn't have a relationship with her. We watched him berate and abuse Janelle for years for disrespecting his power. We watched him say he was never a leader in the family, and then Robyn would be like, Kody is our leader. We watched Robyn attack all of the other women and take Kody's side always, and kiss his butt to the point where Kody believed that he was the king. And we watched him leave his family. We watched how the family relationships looked to be fake. The kids barely knew him, right? So, the apology tour really is about Kody trying to forget all of that and say that that didn't happen, and likely to get ahead of this, well, Janelle will go to the church to get a release. Because losing one wife is bad enough, but losing 2, you're a failure at that point. There's no way that Kody can return to his church, even though he says he doesn't believe. Both Kody and Robyn use the same cult talking points, and both Kody and Robyn still speak in Mormon or extreme Mormon. I don't believe that they don't believe. I just believe that's what they're telling the people. And I believe the repentance for Kody was to get ahead of what he knew was coming. The release from Janelle, another failure, a tell-all book by Christine, and then knowing Christine was writing a tell-all book trying to get them all signed into NDAs so that they couldn't talk about him anymore. So, his explanation fails with Janelle, and I wanted to show you a clip coming up from this week. I don't know how long this process usually takes. I don't believe that they had any plan of granting the release on that day. I felt like they still wanted to talk to Kody, and I could see that it was not going that way, and I started asking questions, and he finally did say, "You know what? You're here. We're here. Let's just do it." The release experience that these women are getting is vastly different than the release experience of the women that are in the church and the group. Still, to be clear, I believe the reason why they're giving these releases so quickly is because of the optics and the spotlight it puts on the OB. And if the OB were to not grant these releases and were not to allow them to move forward, it would look as though they are forcing these women to stay in unhappy marriages and be abandoned by their husband simply because they can. And to just accept it and you need to be celibate. It would make the OB look terrible openly. This is as much PR for the church to do this as it is for Meri and Janelle. The church here, when it comes to the women that are in the cult, they don't give releases easy at all. At all. Dave Watson, who is the prophet of the church, has a wife that is currently suing him, that has sought a release from him for years, and he refuses to give her a release even though they have no relationship. No physical relationship, no emotional relationship, no marital relationship at all. He will not allow her to be freed. So Janelle and Meri are gaining from the publicity that this is putting out into the world because it'll make the leaders of the OB not look like they're controlling women. They also are allowing the releases because Kody they view as a failure. They view him as an insult, and they hate him, even though they are all like Kody themselves, you know. So he allowed it that day, and I walked out of there single, and it was weird. Call, write, I dare you. I double dog dare you today. Text and just be like, "Hey, I need to have a conversation with you." And you could even say about ending my marriage. I'm actually gonna just do it right now. Do it. I just need to do it. Meri gets a release the very same day she asks one, which is again, not typical. And then she's encouraging Janelle to call the leaders to seek the release to end the marriage, to terminate it. And from the outside looking in, it breaks my heart that a woman is so brainwashed by this group, that it breaks my heart that the group brainwashes women and harms the women and psychologically and spiritually abuses them into believing that they have the authority as mortal humans to determine who someone will be with in heaven, which isn't how the Christian version of heaven is supposed to work, and to utilize that eternal promise as a weapon and a tool to keep the women in unhappy relationships. Because by abandoning that covenant, they are told that they will not see members of their family who are in the celestial kingdom, right? So if they don't go to the celestial kingdom, and their other family members do, like say Meri's mom or Janelle's mom, the covenant that they're making and breaking here says that you will not go to the celestial heaven anymore, the kingdom, and you won't get to see them unless they come down to see you in the tier below. And it's weaponizing faith against the women to stay on the promise that they will see their loved ones again. And that's cruel. And it just makes me sad that these women were hurt this way, not that they believe it. It makes me sad that an entity exists that would harm a woman, manipulate them, control them, and mentally and emotionally abuse them, and spiritually abuse them. And so I'm sad that this is the truth, that after those years of psychological indoctrination and spiritual abuse, they feel like they have to seek a spiritual release for a relationship that was never legally valid or recognized. And no mortal man on this planet has the power to control the eternity of anyone. It's really old-fashioned. Hold on. Golly, Meri, this is so dumb. Like, I'm a business person. This is not a big deal. Not a business like Bees Talks like maybe, because it's really, really personal. Do you know what I mean? Okay. It is sent, Meri. It is sent. Well, let me know how it goes. If you want to share it with me, let me know when your meeting is up there. And if you want me around, I'll be around. Isn't it fascinating that after all of these years of Janelle and Meri apparently having all these issues with one another, because they were the first two wives, because Janelle was her former sister-in-law, because they used to be friends, and then they became not friends once they got married. All the back and forth, all the claims, all the accusations. And even after Kody apologizes to Janelle, even after that, right, she gets help from Meri for the release. Even after Kody basically blamed Meri for everything that was wrong in their relationship in the early years, even though we know that's not true, right? We know Meri wasn't the reason things were bad. Yes, they had to deal with one another. Yes, they were competing with one another, but Kody was the one that created and fostered that situation. And after all of these years of Janelle openly being like, I have no relationship with Meri. I don't really care about Meri. And a lot of the things that she has said about Meri, it's Meri that she is going to more often than not for help. Christine has a new marriage, right? Christine didn't get a mental release. Christine didn't believe in the church anymore. And so she doesn't go to Christine even though Christine would know. She would know where to go. I mean, Christine's family is still in the group, right? So, she would know who to call. But she goes to Meri. Meri's gone through the process. Meri knows what the process is. But for everything they say about Meri and how bad Meri is she a bad person if she's willing to offer help to someone to leave the cult, to help them leave the cult, like in fully leaving the cult? Is she a terrible woman because she's trying to help them free themselves from the cult? No. Has she been scapegoated and railroaded by Kody for years? Yes. Will one day these women somehow understand that all of it was a result of Kody? I hope so. I hope they can recognize the pain that they caused one another was a product of what Kody was doing to them, and they can heal. And I'm glad to see these two working together at least. And I'm glad to see Meri offer her support. Okay. It's nice to have mental support. You know, it's so funny that I feel so worried about this. I think it's just because I really haven't spoken with anybody in the church leadership for over a decade, and I'm like, what do they think of me? I don't know. I don't know. Is this weird that I'm coming to ask? Might be like, well, you're not part of the church anymore. I don't know. It's a wild card, which always makes me worried. So, after all of these years of these feuds between Janelle and Meri, it is Janelle and Meri that team up yet again to take Kody and Robyn down. Nothing will make Robyn more angry than Kody getting yet another release, because Robyn is, this woman that she lays on her piety. She uses it as a shield. She acts as though she's so wonderful. She's so above them. She's so endless. And now the queen is totally knocked down. She's no longer in the kingdom. This destroys Robyn's kingdom as much as it destroys Kody's. And in their fantasy world of their kingdom that they have, they are nothing. They are just like Janelle. They are just like Meri. They are no better than anyone else. In fact, in their religion, they are worse. They are losers. And it's Meri and Janelle who yet again are teaming up. They teamed up about Coyote Pass. They team up here. And we all know that Kody is going to shift the blame and try to claim that Janelle is the one that is trying to screw Meri out of money. And we all know that the unity that they have, Kody's going to try to drive a wedge between that. Because they'll be retaliating against Meri and Janelle for what they've done. And so he wants them to be split and fighting again. So that's what's to come is the retaliation. The retaliation of Kody and Robyn against Meri and Janelle, and that will be how the entire apology story blows up. So what are your ideas about this? Are you shocked to see them working together again? Tell me your ideas in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed, and click the bell so you never miss a video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye!